Hey everybody, it's me again. So, anyways, guys, I'm out here on my patio there, and I made me another one of those wild turkey and strawberry sodas, like I said I would. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I guess, a small little story about this one time when I was at the American Legion post in Lehigh, and me and I guess apparently I was working. I was working that day. I forget who was working with me that day because I was a dishwasher. We had to cook and everything else, and I got done dishwashing apparently. Um, and I just started, like drinking like heavy, not really heavy, but heavy enough. I knew it was like my favorites. So I went to like, I guess this is like my second or my third favorite at the time was just a straight up rum and coke there. So at that time I was like, I went up to one of my bartenders, which is rest her soul because she passed away a long time ago, while ago. But she was like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Could I get a Captain and Coke?" And she was like, "That's Captain Stupid. That's Captain Stupid." And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "No. If you're gonna order that, I'm gonna give you Bacardi." And I'm like, "Okay." So she gave me Bacardi and Coke. I was like, "All right, whatever." So, anyways, freaking back to the whole story. It was like that same day anyway, but I guess apparently, I had a drink before I clocked in that day, and I didn't think anything of it. But my boss was cool. He didn't care. He didn't really give a shit. But anyways, that time, I just did my thing, and I had a friend that wanted to play pool. So I was like, yeah, sure, man, let's go ahead and we'll play some pool or whatever. So we played some pool, my other friends, did karaoke or whatever. And then my mother came in, she started doing karaoke, that kind of shit, and then everybody started leaving a little bit. I didn't think anything of it, it's still early, so this is like maybe like, I don't know, 8 o'clock at night, I guess, 8, between 8:30 or so. And I was already done dishwashing. Dinner was done at 7, and I was already done by 8 o'clock. It was like a quick dinner, quick cleanup night, I guess. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, yeah, sure, let me get a rum and coke. So I went and I got a rum and coke. I'm sitting there, and my mother was sitting there. I'm like, I'll sit with you, I guess, for a little bit. So then all of a sudden, this guy came in. His name was Pompey. All right. This guy's like really disabled. Not really disabled. He was disabled though. He was like, he had a, I should say he had a cane on him and all that. And he came in with this girl that was like super hot. And I was like, holy shit, who's that? You know? So my mother freaking, Poppy sat down to my next to my mother or whatever, and that girl sat down there. So I'm like, oh, so me and her were talking, and she was like, hey, and I'm like, hey, what's up? I was like, I noticed you don't have a drink. Do you want a drink? She was like, sure. What are you having? I said, I'm having a rum and coke. She goes, could you get me one? I'm like, yeah, it's no problem. I'll get you one. There, so I went and got her a rum and coke and got myself another rum and coke because, well, that was me at the time. I was like, yeah, I'll get myself one even though mine was like halfway gone. So, here I am, I'm buying freaking rum and coke, for me and that girl, and everything else. And then, after like the second one, I think, of that night, the second or third one, I drank, I think, a total number of like 5 or 6 rum and cokes that night. But I guess like after, I guess one of the bartenders didn't leave, but she was taking a break. I guess supposedly I went to the other bartender, and she likes to make her rum and cokes like strong. So she like literally goes like rum, and then coke, and that's it. So like she was giving me like tall glasses, but like the other lady, she was giving me like small glasses, like what this is. So I was like, okay, it's whatever. So anyways, guys, myself, I go ahead and I'm like, hey, what's your name? She's like, my name is Lindsay. And I'm like, all right, nice to meet you, Lindsay. So me and her were talking. I was like, do you want to play some pool or something? She's like, yeah, sure. I'm like, all right. I was trying to get away from like my mother as best as I can. My mother was like, y'all gonna hook up? What y'all gonna do? And I was like, mother, stop that shit. Just stop it. Just fucking stop it. But at the time I'm like, man, I'm getting fucking drunk as shit. Fuck. So I was like, I'm gonna fucking go play some pool and keep calm. I'm good. So me and her, we went and played some pool a little bit. Showed her how to shoot some pool a little bit. I'm not very all that good really at all. I'm not, but it's whatever though. I was having fun. So, anyways, afterwards, my grandfather came in after like I had like 2.5 of those rum and cokes, and he's sitting there. He knows I'm drinking. He didn't really say anything to me, and my mother went up to the bar and got like whatever the hell she was drinking, I guess, and she had her drink. She did like one, maybe two more songs on karaoke, and then she left. And she was like looked at me and she goes, "Hey, we're gonna go on home." I'm like, "But I'm having fun." And I was like, "But I'm having fun, Mom. I'm not worried about this." All right, I said, I'll get a ride or something, or I'll call Pop Up when I'm done. So she was like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So then Pop Pop came up to me and he was like, "Hey, you're drinking. You gotta come home. You gotta come home now." There, and I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, you gotta come home." And I'm like, "All right." I'm like, Lindsay is like, I gotta go. Like, I hate to do that, but, and she was like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, yeah, I gotta go. There, and I was thinking, man, at least one or two more drinks, and I could have got her away from Poppy, and would have been like, man, let's go to like somewheres, and like you could like suck me off or something, but that didn't happen. So, it was, I don't know. She grinded on me a little bit that day, but it wasn't, that night, whatever. But it was all good. Supposedly, freaking one of the other bartenders that was in there, I went to high school with, and freaking she got mad and upset that I was drinking supposedly, and she's saying, what was it? What was it? Carrie Underwood supposedly. So she was like looked at me like the whole time too, like I know she was pissed. So I know she was pissed at me, but I think it was like before he cheats or something like that. And I'm like, really, like me and you are not even going out, girl. Like I know about you, but that's it. I know you went to high school with me. Your sister went to high school with me. We were all good, but like we never done anything. We were talking, but we weren't dating or anything. So, but I was like, what's whatever. But anyways, guys, I know this is gonna be this is like a little long story, but long story short, I got up because I was like, man, I gotta go. So I left the girl sitting there with that guy, Poppy, and I went to get up. I got up, I started walking out, and one of my buddies from the Legion, I'm not saying his name, but he looked at me and he was like, "You booze hound." And I'm like, "Man, look at you, you booze hound," or whatever. So like freaking at that time, I kind of was happy about that because he was like, "You booze hound, I'm proud of you," or whatever. And at that time, I'm already, I already had like 5 fucking rum and cokes in me, like 5 or 6 rum and cokes in me. And like I went to go do something, I don't know, and I went to slow down or something walking, or like have my mother go ahead of me or something, I don't know. And I fell over. I fell over and I was like, "Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit." And then freaking, like, they're like, "Jimmy, Jimmy, Jimmy, no, 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 you gotta get up, you gotta get up." And I'm like, "Ah, shit." And that was like the very first time my grandfather saw me like falling over drunk and everything else. And then we came on home and I didn't think anything of it. And I was like, "Oh man, I want to go back out, but that ain't gonna happen." But my mother said, "Oh, I'm going for the bed." This is like, I don't know, 10 o'clock, I guess, by that time. And I'm like, "Oh, come on, man, we got to go." And I said to Pop Up, I said, "Would you take me back to the Legion?" And he was like, are you gonna drink anymore? And I'm like, I don't know. If I do, it's only gonna be like one drink, and then I'm gonna leave. And he was like, all right, I'll take you back. And I'm like, really? And he was like, no, I'll take you back if my foot's up your ass. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I was like, well, all right, fine. So I was like, I'm just gonna sit here then. So I got on the computer and started like looking at porn and freaking looking at, like AOL and that kind of shit, doing chat rooms, or whatever. And then freaking by the time that happened, it was going on like midnight. So I was like, I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed. This sucks, or whatever. And that was it. And I remember my grandfather saying to me like before, like right after he said, "I'll put my foot up your ass." He said, "You better wake up tomorrow for work." There, because I know my grandfather. He said my father would. He said he would drink a whole bottle of whiskey and still go to work. So I don't want to hear it from you. And I was like, okay. And at that time, I was like, I'm just, damn near falling over. I'm not nothing right now. It's whatever. All I gotta do is just go to bed, put my freaking ringtone on, and I'm good. And I did. I didn't have no hangover, no nothing. I just freaking got up the next day, went to work, came back, and I was good. It wasn't drunk. I wasn't, bad. So, anyways, guys, that was the whole story. So, my thing is this, guys. If you ever see a girl that you're like, oh man, she's so fucking hot, make sure family ain't there, because they're gonna eventually try to push you away from this girl, or whatever. So eventually you're gonna find the right girl for you, or whatever. You never know, never know. Freaking, you just never know anymore nowadays. Maybe you'll find a partner or something. You just never know. But anyways, guys, me and Gwen, I don't know if we're gonna be together forever, but we're married and we go back and forth. Some days we're happy, some days we're funny. We're happy with each other, and then some days we're just straight up fighting and just being like, we all want a fucking divorce. Oh, fuck you and everything else. So. You just never know. Never know nowadays. There, so. Anyways, guys, y'all to remember to have mercy and have a nice day.